Welcome back to the Virtual Handshake Module 5, which is called Earning Trust. Now, this is a short chapter, but it's very important, so don't let the shortness distract you from the value and the power here. Now, when I say earning trust, I'm talking really about the long-term credibility that you are building in your business. It's the most crucial component of selling, period, whether you're online, you're offline, you're some kind of combination in between, all of the above, whatever. Without trust and without credibility, you are not going to have much of a business, and you can't expect all that much success. Not just in business, in life in general, of course. Long term credibility is about trust, and trust itself is earned, but it's earned on an ongoing basis. Trust is established by your actions that you repeatedly do, and your customers will begin to they'll get to know you for the kind of person that you are and for the kind of company that you are building. And so you must set standards, and you must live and operate and behave and create products and services in a way that reinforces that you can be trusted and that you are a credible company. So there's a number of ways you can do this. A lot of it's just common sense, but to start off, doing more than you are paid. Some of the best companies really do a great job of this. Thinking back to the example of my client with the healing music, how cool would it be if you're somebody going through his product or his purchase process, and you pick up some of his reports and you pick up some of the healing music that he recommends, and then you get a call or you get a Skype message or a Facebook private message asking you if you received the order, asking if you had any problems with the download, and maybe some links or suggestions to some other new things that he's just discovered in the last few weeks, but it's done at a personal level. Or maybe his assistant's following up and making sure that you can get in touch with his company anytime you need anything. You have a problem, you have a question. These little things, doing more than you're paid, but standing out from the crowd, is just one little thing you can do, A, to garner that trust, but B, boost the credibility in the eyes of the buyer. And it doesn't take much more than some effort. Put a little bit of extra effort in, and you're already going to be surpassing what a lot of people are willing to do, and that long-term credibility will pay for itself over and over again. Let's go back to that video recommendation that I talked about in the previous chapter, where instead of just recommending a product, what if you took some time to, instead of sending your customers right to the recommended vendor's website, you sent them to a page on your website first. And on that website, there's a video of you explaining why you're recommending the product and a demonstration of you using the product in your business and some of the benefits that you've received and some of the money that you saved or the time and frustration that you avoided wasting because you are using this product. Now, your customer not only sees that you're willing to share and provide success tips to them, but you're also recommending a product that truly works, and now they're going to want to reward you by giving you the affiliate commission for that. So the long-term credibility gets boosted, and you get to make some money in the process. These are the kind of things that we're talking about when we focus on what can I do to make my customers trust me more? What can I do to establish deeper levels of credibility? And this last point that I want to discuss is ultimately what ties this whole chapter together. It's really the main message here. And that is that you can transform problems, complaints, questions from your customers into opportunity. And a lot of new entrepreneurs get hung up on this because they worry that if customers complain or customers get angry about something, there's a misunderstanding, there's a technical breakdown, problems arise. What am I going to do when that happens or if that happens? Well, the first message I have for you is that it is going to happen. It is inevitable that somebody is not going to be happy during the process of dealing with you or your company. Mistakes happen, expectations don't get met, miscommunications, you name it. There's a lot of things that could potentially go wrong. So rather than worrying, about how to prevent these things from happening, just accept that it's a reality of doing business. But then also empower yourself to realize that anytime this does happen, it doesn't have to be a negative. It can be up to you as the business owner, somebody who's concerned with long-term credibility, to turn those problems and complaints or questions into opportunity. So, as an example, I've had plenty of situations where customers were frustrated because during a purchase process, let's say something technical went wrong. The sales page wasn't operating correctly, or the buy button didn't work, the payment processor didn't process the item correctly, or our server malfunctioned, and even though the payment went through, it didn't send them a receipt. I could sit here all day listing all the particular technical details that can go wrong and probably will go wrong at some point for you when you're selling online. Some customers are really understanding, other customers get really frustrated. In the case where I've had really frustrated customers, I've had the case where the person had tried to buy 3 or 4 times, it didn't work, and they were just at their wits' end, and they left a message at our help desk saying basically, my payment went through, I didn't get anything, you guys don't know what you're doing, give me my money back, this is a waste of time. They just didn't want anything to do with us anymore. And as the business owner, we could, I could look at that in one of two ways. I could say, oh man, we really messed up, this sucks, let's give him his money back, and kind of hide and hope this problem goes away. Or we could say, you know what, let's try to deal with this in the most long-term credibility building approach that we possibly can. So what I did was I reached out to this customer. I actually picked up the phone. Surprise, surprise. A traditional selling technique that still works. And I picked up the phone and I got a hold of the customer and I explained the situation and I apologized. I set my ego at the door and I just said, look, we're very sorry that you had this happen. No excuse, really. We just had some technical issues. It doesn't happen all that often, but for whatever reason it happened this time. What I'd love to do is make it up to you, and whatever the case was. And I've dealt with this in many different ways depending on the situation. But the point is, I took the effort to pick up the phone, get in touch with the customer, show them that we care, show them that we're here to solve the problem, and that even though you may be frustrated right now, we're going to do what it takes to reset this relation back on the right track. And every single time I've done this, I was able to turn a frustrated customer, an angry person who may have never wanted to do business with us again, into a long-term champion of our company, who would refer business to us, who enjoyed dealing with us, who likes our products and our services, and now trusts us more than they ever have before, because I was willing to do the simple act of picking up the phone. And in some cases, I had to go above and beyond that because their phone number wasn't available. So I had to look up their name and maybe find their website or some kind of site, maybe on LinkedIn, and then through a series of searches, I did some detective work and found a phone number to call them at, and they were just impressed that I was able to get a hold of them live to begin with. They thought it was pretty cool that I went to that so much trouble to reach out and get a hold of them. That's just one little example, but taking a complaint or something that goes wrong and turning it around in your favor. There's been other cases where I had something for sale, and you could argue that the way I described the product didn't match what the product delivered. It wasn't done deliberately, but it was just done because that can happen when you're selling online. Maybe you worded it in your head, it sounded right, and the customer perceived it as something different, and they thought it was misleading them on purpose. I did not think I was doing that, and this customer was very upset that what they bought was not what they believed I told them what the product was all about. Again, the problem could be very bad if I just ignored that customer, or the problem can be resolved and turned around in my favor if I was willing to step up to the plate, which I did. I called the customer, and actually in this case it was a series of emails, and I set the record straight. I apologized for the misunderstanding. I offered a replacement product. I offered a refund because I offered to see sort of my error in judgment and how they could have approached this whole selling process incorrectly, and I admitted that there was a better way we could have handled it. And so by doing that, this customer was really impressed that I didn't ignore them, that I took the time to acknowledge that we may have messed up, and I was willing to correct the problem. And again, that customer turned it around. They didn't want a refund. They continued to buy from us, and all was well. The point is, we did, or in my case, I did the things that were required to show that customer that we cared and that we were here for the long run to take care of them. Another one is questions. You will get all kinds of questions coming into your help desk or to your support email. Each and every one of these questions is a huge opportunity for you. It's an opportunity for you to create a connection with that individual customer, to answer their question, and it's an opportunity for you to turn the answer of that question into an asset in your business. So if a customer is asking a question that deals directly with using your product, and it's a question that has any remote chance of being asked again in the future, instead of answering it just this once, you can turn it into a recorded answer, something you write down into a PDF document, or you create a tutorial video before, or you hire somebody that does that for you. But you can see what I mean. You can see where I'm going with this is that anytime a question comes in, you're presented with an opportunity to create an asset and to create a long-term relationship. Questions from your customers are often the only source of inspiration you need for new material, for new training material for your customers, new reports, new guides, new tip sheets, things that you can sell, things that you can give away for free. A lot of people say, I don't know what to write next, or I don't know what product to create next, or what to sell to my customers. Go back to your help desk. Look at the questions that are being answered. A lot of the time, your next product is sitting there right in that queue. So that is my message here, is that your long-term credibility can be developed very easily. Trust is something you can establish and you can keep establishing over and over and over again by sticking to these basics that seem so common sense, but a lot of people don't practice this in the online world for whatever reason. Make it your habit to practice this and visit the Virtual Handshake tip sheet and look at those earning trust tips. Put them somewhere prominent. Put them in your Evernote, or put them on your mobile device, on your desktop, or somewhere where you can revisit them on an ongoing basis. And before you know it, you'll be earning trust and gaining long-term credibility that will pay you both in money and in customer trust and loyalty for years to come.